And away we go. Hi, everybody. My name's Mitchell.
And I'm Brett.
And this is Real World Recovery, your one-stop shop for all of your favorite recovery madness.
Yeah, it really...
It truly is.
Yeah, it truly is. It really is.
So, earlier...
Number 15, baby.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah, or quinceañera.
Oh, it's true.
For your Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a little Spanish at you.
Yeah, no, I knew what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not 15 years, but I don't know what episode is.
I mean, that was birthday.
Right.
I'm pretty sure 15th birthday, which, yeah, it's not, but, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, earlier today when I was walking into our meeting, one of the gentlemen in the group was like, "Hey man, I finally checked out your guys' podcast." And I'm like, "Oh, right on, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that." I was like, "Well, what did you think?" And he's like, "Well, it's you guys talking to each other." And I'm like,
have you seen any other podcasts?
like, do you know what a podcast is?
Right.
It's okay. No, but he was like, "No, it's pretty cool," which, I appreciate that. You know? I'm glad we can reach an audience. And it's not just about you and I having a conversation. It's about the fact that we talk about stuff that a lot of people have rolling around in their head.
Yeah.
And, it's about letting you guys know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
That we are just like you and we have the same thoughts and struggles and sorrows and pains and pleasures. And, well, I don't have the same pleasures as the rest of y'all because I'm celibate, but that's a choice. I'm not an incel. I'm purposefully that way.
Follow us for more in the next installment of TMI, hosted by Mitchell.
I mean, I can edit it out. It's fine. I probably won't though, because who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
We'll spin that off into a series of shorts.
Here we're in the first 3 minutes of the episode, and you already know that I don't have sex. So that's perfect.
Inquiring minds want to.
Yeah, there's no secrets. There's no secrets.
Really, we gotta laugh at ourselves.
It's
fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. If I was worried about it, I'm sure that I could find a willing participant. But
yeah, whatever.
I just don't care.
Well, and if that's all it was about, I'm sure that.
Yeah, and that's really what it comes down to is I had all of that, meaningless fun, and if I'm going to be in a position where I'm going to be sharing that part of myself with someone, I wanted to have meaning.
Yeah.
And no one's come along that wanted to share that meaning with me, so
yeah,
is what it is.
There you go.
Because it's about personal growth.
I think that's things that we learn about ourselves as we grow and develop in recovery, is that a lot of that stuff that we used to do was just surface level, and it was empty.
Yeah. It's the same dopamine as chasing the drugs, you know what I mean?
Well, it's fleeting.
Same, yeah, and it's the same over, and then what, are you chasing it again?
It's like chasing the dragon, man. It's that you get, it's never as good as the first time. And you're.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's some woman out there who wants to, cuddle with me while I watch other people's podcasts. and
yeah,
is what it is.
Well, things will happen the way they're supposed to happen.
I think for me, really, what it comes down to at this point is, though, that I've worked so hard on creating a sense of peace, outside of my manic hyperness when it comes to work and school, but when I'm alone in my apartment, it's very peaceful. I'm manic out here.
Right.
In there, if I feel myself being like that, I just stop what I'm doing I sit or lay down on my couch and, flip on some sort of infotainment and zone out for a little while until I have gotten myself back to the point where I feel comfortable doing what I need to do.
Yep. And, those are tools we learn in the process is, grounding, centering, and also things that we've found that we actually enjoy that are fulfilling rather than those surface level empty pleasures, and those become slippery slopes.
They can for a lot of people.
Yeah. And
especially in early recovery, I see it time and time again.
Yeah. I mean, I know it borderlines on becoming one of those like beaten to death cliches, but that's why they say like, don't date in your first year of recovery,
Well, and fun fact, kids, you're probably not going to meet the love of your life in rehab.
I can basically guarantee it.
Yeah. Oh, the old rehab romance.
Oh my God. The 13th stepping.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know that.
Well, it's really not even 13 stepping because, I mean, you would have to work the first 12 steps to get to the.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Hey, man, I work 10, 11, 12 all the time.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. You can't cut to the end and then say that you're 13 stepping like.
Yeah, that's fair. It would just be promiscuity at that point.
Right. Yeah. You're just skipping to the end. You're skipping right past the whole thing.
Well, Yeah, but I still don't, so here we are.
Yeah. So, but
my ex-wife is like, are you like some kind of monk now or something? I'm like, I fucking wish.
I mean,
like then I would have true serenity, maybe.
I mean, from a certain person's perspective, maybe that's what it is, but I honestly think that some people see what we get in recovery and are genuinely kind of, I don't know if the right word is awestruck, but there's a certain level of like fascination or maybe even jealousy.
Yeah, I was thinking jealousy while you were talking, but I didn't. But I feel like some jealousy might be a little too strong. I think fascination is a good call.
Yeah,
because
curiosity.
It's just like, because like especially people who are still using are like, how are you? If you were just like me,
right?
How are you okay? Right. Which, hey guys, we're not always okay.
100% not.
But like it's a lot easier to deal with when you don't have to.
The time it takes to get from not okay to back to
okay, is much quicker, and you understand what the steps need to be, what the process has to be.
Yeah,
it's not a mystery anymore.
Yeah.
So that when you get to the point,
Well, and it goes back to what I said in I think it was the last episode or maybe the episode before, but where it's like, it's so much easier to trust the process when you've been through the process.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, you did. That was, I believe, last episode or the episode.
But it's true. Yeah. Like, I know that I can trust the process of, being able to feel my feelings and use the coping mechanisms that I've got because I know they work.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm going to get back to a place where I can get on with my life.
Right.
Because it's worked. I've done it. I've seen it work before. I know they work. Like, if it was the first time I was doing it and somebody was like, trust the process, I'd be like, go to hell.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah. When I got out of treatment, it was like, well, yeah, no, I know how to do this.
Right. So like,
and then it was like very apparent very quickly that I did not. In fact,
it's hard to hear that and just take it at face value and be like, okay. Yeah. Like, so, it definitely gets easier the more times I've
I think that's why it's good for like like the meeting we had earlier tonight, that the way that topic presented itself in our group, I think it's helpful to see all the people who are coming back, who are residents there, because there's more than half of the people there now are former residents.
Yeah.
And, talking about the safety of the rooms and knowing that you're with like-minded people and hearing everybody who's like still, compared to you and I, super fresh in recovery, being there and present for the people, because there's a bunch of people in there with a day, 3 days, 4 days. I was looking at that board. It's a bunch of newbies in there.
Yeah.
And, I think it's so fantastic to see, this little thing that you and I do to keep ourselves sane, kind of snowballing. It's a thing of beauty, man.
Yeah.
It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
Because they're trusting us that the process works.
Yeah.
And then now they're passing it down to the newbies. And like that, the young kid, I mean, you can see his gears turning.
Yeah.
Where he's like, okay, wait a minute, I can do this different.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, man. And it's so great. It's just so fantastic.
It really is. And, I was having this conversation earlier today. It's incredible to me how it's just been that's how it has just gone for decades. It's just been an organic thing. But for me, I knew that the only way that it was going to work for me was to be very open and very transparent, because the person I was all through active addiction was I was extremely talented at masking, at being that chameleon. I could be whoever I needed to be to manipulate, but also, even if I wasn't outright manipulating, I could be whoever I needed to be in order to just blend in, fit in,
make the
or
situation,
get along.
Make the situation easier for myself.
Because I didn't want conflict. I enjoyed
just let me drink this vodka and move along with my life.
I enjoyed getting along with people. I enjoyed having a good time. I enjoyed being the life of a party. I enjoyed the attention. And
yeah, I feel that.
I rarely was me. Like, there was some version of me in there, but I wasn't being authentic. I wasn't being vulnerable. I wasn't really truly giving a shit about anybody else but me. And so when it came time to finally face it and
give that up a bit
and say, like, I can't do this by myself, I need help, I need to get clean, I had to admit to myself that, like, the only way this is going to work is if I'm laying it all on the table and letting everybody know.
Yeah.
And
well, as we were talking about earlier, that is the beauty of meetings.
By sharing all along the way, even the little victories, those little milestones, like, it was, sharing however many weeks, however many months, in the beginning, it was for me, like, to remind myself of the little victories, like, during those hard months and those hard weeks, like it, and then it got easier, and then eventually people I didn't realize were paying attention
Going, hey, man, you're doing great.
And then saying, hey, I actually have a few months myself now. I saw you were doing it and realized like I needed to. And
I had a moment where somebody came to me and I'd been like being like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. I haven't heard from you in a while. And it was somebody who, you know, I knew from treatment, but they weren't in treatment with me. And I just kept being like, yo, what's up? You okay? You okay? Haven't heard from you. Not seen you post on Facebook, you know. And then they're like, hey, yeah, man, I fell off. But seeing you do all the things that you're doing reminds me that, you know, I need to get back to what I was doing. And I'm like, hey, there's no shame in any of that.
right.
Welcome back, you know? And I'm like, here's all these resources, you know? I'm like, you helped me out of my hole. I'm more than happy to help you back out of yours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of a weird feeling to be somebody's like inspiration to quit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we all kind of, I don't know that like I looked at any one person in particular and was like, yeah, if they can do it, I can. It was more of like, for me personally anyway, it was more like I need to do this or I'm going to die.
Yeah.
But
yeah. There wasn't like ever a singular moment that I was like that person because like that's the reason I decided to.
right.
But along the way after I made the decision because I realized I needed to, there were plenty of those people.
Yeah.
That
I mean, once I started paying attention and like was serious about it,
that like continued to inspire me and I looked up to and I didn't want to let down.
yeah.
Like, and because I was being open and about it and kept talking about it, part of it was I didn't want to let them down, but I didn't want to let myself down. Like I wanted to continue to be able to celebrate those milestones, and I wanted to keep being able to like hit that next notch, you know. But
yeah.
the thing I mentioned earlier today, I was like, you know, when I'm talking with people that, you know, I don't necessarily know well, and I'm sharing and, you know, getting vulnerable and all of that, and it's not necessarily difficult.
Sure. I mean, you get real used to the setting.
But mostly because like difficult's the wrong word, because like all I got to do is tell the truth,
Right.
you know. And the only thing that I really had to do to completely like change my life for the better was give up the thing that was killing me. And, you know, I started to like reframe the way I was thinking about it and started sharing it in that way with people, like, and getting vulnerable about like how messed up my thinking was, and like the things that I was allowing to be acceptable
Sure.
in my decision making.
The hierarchy of values stuff.
Yeah, and in order to continue to
Yeah.
kill myself.
Yeah. All the justification.
Like and lower my standard of living and quality of life and just all of the things, and for what? And but I never had that aha moment until like years into being clean. Like the wiring was so messed up in my brain that like I wasn't even able to process it that way until well after I got clean and had been talking about it and sharing it and yeah, it's wild how distorted my worldview had become.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like the lens that I was seeing everything through and just how twisted it really was until like that proverbial fog had lifted. And it's not like an aha moment. Like it took a long time of actually talking through it and thinking through it and processing and going back through it and talking about it again and talking about it again and little light bulbs kept coming on, and finally it's like, Jesus, man. Like, holy crap. Like, I really started seeing, like, the whole picture. And, yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And, as they say, more will be revealed, because I'm sure that I haven't seen the whole picture yet. But
I don't know that any of us ever will. So, there's that.
I hope not. I hope I keep learning,
Yeah, I mean,
I want to keep growing. I want to keep getting better.
I want to keep learning things that interest me. I feel like I'm kind of over learning all the places that self-destruction can take me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying
No,
I want to
I'm
go
just-
do more research.
Yeah, no. Throwback to last week's podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I definitely don't need to do any more research. I think I'm good on that.
Anyway, yeah, how was your week?
It was good, man. It was busy.
Yeah.
I recorded 2 interviews, and then now we're doing this. So, yeah, I've had a busy week
Yeah.
in here.
Trapped in your room.
Yeah, one interview was in here in person, one was remote over the Google Meet. And
Nice.
Then this. But yeah, it's been good. I think with the snowstorm coming up, I'm probably not going to be able to get back to the old hometown to see Grandma for this weekend. So
I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, I was going to go back there and see her this weekend, but
Yeah. I think that, I'm going to make sure that I have, everything I need and then just sleep all of Saturday, I think is my plan. Because I'll be real honest, I feel burned out. But the good news is that, I went in to class on Monday. You may remember my unending saga with English. Mm-hmm. And I had an adult conversation with her where I was like, okay, I need to understand like this. And then we need to have a conversation about our tones when we're emailing with each other. Like, I'm generally not being sarcastic or trying to be funny in an email. I'm very familiar with how business emails are. And I'm like, if you are going to criticize or say something needs to change about the paper, you need to be descriptive of what it is. I think if we can more effectively communicate, then neither one of us will feel a way about this relationship anymore. And she agreed, and we've been doing that, and it's been very helpful. And I sent her like the 6th revision, 5th revision, and she's like, hey, I know you've worked really hard on this, but maybe it's just time you turn it in and see where the chips fall. I think I got it. She was very helpful. both on Monday, and I ended up kind of taking Tuesday off from all of the things because I just feel like I hit a wall. But then Wednesday.
I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
That's okay. I mean, at least it's not the printer.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, so Wednesday it snowed here in Wisconsin.
It did.
For those of you who don't know. So I had Spanish in the morning, and it was just starting to snow. The roads were already terrible by the time it was 11 o'clock in the morning. I saw like 5 people in the ditch, and it was just dumb.
They didn't call off class?
No, she canceled class because everybody.
I'm surprised by that.
She canceled English because she wanted everybody to work harder on their papers. Everyone except for me, apparently. Then I like emailed my English or my algebra teacher, and I'm like, hey man, like out here in Cottage Grove, it's not friendly. It's not car friendly.
Right.
I'm like, so I'm gonna like not come to class tonight. I'm like, I know we were doing a review. I printed off the review test. I will do the review test, and then I will see you Monday evening. And he's like, well, I understand. Thanks for the heads up. So that was cool that he was understanding about it or whatever. But yeah, back to English. So by the end of our conversation on Monday, she's like, you are the person I'm least worried about when it comes to this paper in this class. And I'm like, you could have said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, we need to communicate more effectively because I'm not getting, we're mixing signals here. And so, yeah. And we've communicated effectively all week. So that's been good. But yeah, other than that, my week was a whole lot of shoveling today. I shoveled 3 driveways, 2 sets of stairs, and a path.
3 driveways?
Yeah, 3 driveways.
Are you like picking up
neighbors?
Yes.
So I didn't, I just, somebody needed some help.
Yeah.
Down the road from my aunt and uncle's, and I helped them real quick.
Nice.
Because I had the snowblower out.
Sure.
I just did the end of their driveway for them because they were struggling with the shovel. So it wasn't really shoveling.
Hey.
Now I feel sheepish.
No,
because I shoveled 3 driveways. When reality of it is I snowblowed 2 of them.
No, the point is you helped folks clear snow.
Yeah, but that's what you do in the Midwest.
It is.
And if you don't, you're an asshole.
Well, regardless of calling somebody an asshole, like that.
Come on, man! Like it's the Midwest. If you see somebody struggling with snow, you help them.
Well, sure, but it defeats the point of saying that by following up with.
If you don't, you're an asshole. Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's my opinion, man.
Well. You almost had a good segue into one of the things that I saw this week that really actually like brightened my spirits, and I think it's one of those things that people have opportunities all the time, and we're always in our world and things are busy and there's always distractions and there's always something that's going to take our attention in the moment, and there's always some reason to not see it or not have time or to not care or whatever the case might be. But, I was driving home, saw the guy. Did I say this last week?
No, but you texted it to me.
So, okay. So, on my way home, and in the little roundabout at the end of the block, it was right after like a very windy day. I'm on my way home, and there was a bunch of, litter and stuff that had gotten blown around, and out in the center area of the roundabout, there's, a grassy patch, and there's a couple of road signs and stuff.
Sure.
And there's this old man out there just picking up trash. And as I drove past, I rolled my window down and I thanked him, and I get a little bit of a little ways past him, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I mean, it's a small thing, but he had so many other options that I think so many other people would do first. They'd either do nothing,
which would be most of us.
They'd complain about it.
Most of us.
Look how much trash is out there. Oh my God, it's so messy.
Call the city.
Call the city.
Yeah.
Complain about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go on social media.
Yeah. Can
be out there with their phone taking pictures or live video to complain about it on social media.
Sure.
Go on Nextdoor.
Oh man, Nextdoor is the worst.
But this guy
just went and cleaned it up.
Didn't like seeing litter out there. Picked it up. He probably wasn't the one that littered.
I mean, I would guess that he wasn't.
But he just picked it up. Out of all of the other options, it probably actually took the least amount of effort, shy of doing nothing, but probably caused him the least amount of stress and anxiety.
Sure.
It actually was probably a net gain as far as like overall happiness.
Possibly.
And it definitely was a net gain as far as everybody else around him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it reminds me of the Marcus Aurelius quote, you know, did you do something that was for the benefit of, you know, the common good? Then you share in the benefit.
Mm. That's why I share memes.
Don't seek the third thing. Like, did you do a good thing? Did someone else benefit? That's enough. You don't need the recognition. You don't need a reward, you know? But, as my friend Caroline told me today, she's like, I'm sure he really appreciated that you took the time to say thank you. Like, he...
Right.
Like, that may have been the thing that he really needed. And that... I'm sure a lot of people just drove past him. And I didn't think about that. You know? And, I don't know. I think there's opportunities like that all the time. Like, to just help. To just do something good.
I mean, that's kind of why we do what we do on Thursdays.
Yeah.
You know?
And, I mean, there is a bit of a benefit for ourselves. Like, a direct benefit for me. Like, I'm there for my own recovery.
Sure. But I mean, that guy's there for his own neighborhood. You know, he's picking up that trash because he feels, you know, that he needs to make his neighborhood the place he wants to live. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I'm not saying that they're dissimilar. Like, but I feel like even outside of a recovery environment is I guess what I'm saying is just in a bigger sense. And I think this is how we as people in recovery especially can help to try to take away some of that stigma and, you know, just by, you know, just being attentive to opportunities to be helpful and be, you know, attuned to ways that we can just do some kindness for the world around us, whether it's another person or just, you know, our environment, you know, our community, whatever. And who cares if somebody notices? Like, does it benefit where we live? Then, well, we benefit too. So,
Sure.
you know, it's, I don't need a gold star, you know? Like, that's not the point. Like, that's how the things get a little bit better tomorrow than they were today. The hard part is we're goaded into always having to have an opinion about everything. Always having to feel a certain way about everything, and we don't have to. Like, we have the power to not have an opinion about every single thing. Like, things aren't asking for our judgment about everything. Like, they don't need our judgment. We can just do the good thing that's in front of us, you know, and that's how we can be of a benefit to the world around us. You know, social media, like, wants us, like, that's it. What it's,
I mean,
designed
it's
to do.
designed to do that because that's how they sell ads and our information to advertising companies. Like, I mean, that's the
Right.
reason it's free, because we're the product.
That's what I'm saying, though.
And the only way we keep using it is if we keep feeling incensed and needing to place our opinion on the matter on there.
right.
It has led to the destruction of society.
I don't think society's been destroyed. That's an opinion that you've been goaded into having.
Okay.
You don't have to have that opinion.
You
You don't have to have an opinion on it at all.
I am.
We live in the best time ever in history
Not for long.
humans to live.
I would disagree. I would disagree. If we lived in another part of the world, then perhaps.
I said time.
I mean,
We, like, historically speaking,
this is the best time to be alive. I still tend to disagree. I think that The Matrix nailed it and said that the peak of the human species was the late 90s. I don't know, man. I don't know. I have worked very hard on controlling what I can control and trying my best not to become a mess by world events. But I don't submit to it being the best time ever to be alive. I mean, it's okay. We can disagree on that one.
You were alive in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
I was old enough to be independent in the late 90s.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
No difference in your timeline.
I mean, yeah, except all of that's gone now because it was.
No, it isn't.
Okay. I don't want to have this argument with you.
It isn't different at all, because in order to have lived in that time, you would still have to be alive. Unless you're saying that you would have wanted to be dead by now. So,
I mean, I tried to be.
I know, but
so
you can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying?
I don't, no, I don't, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore. So, yeah. I mean, I think that we should all find little ways to be better to each other. And I think that, we forget that each one of us as an individual and in the society as a whole it's incumbent upon us to live up to a moral standard that, is about taking care of your neighbors and taking care of each other, because, all of this hate and nonsense going on out there right now is not how this species survives.
Yeah. And the things that we can control, and this is the thing that I said day after the election. My job doesn't change. That's the great thing about focusing on what I can control. No matter what is happening out there, the nice thing about focusing on the things that I have control over, my job doesn't change. I have the things that I have control over. So as long as I'm doing the next right thing, I'm acting with virtue, I am, trying to take care of the people that are close to me. I'm trying to do, my best. I'm trying to improve myself.
I'm trying to get more sleep.
As long as I'm focused on those things and, doing the next right thing, my job remains simple. My job remains the same. No matter, there's things that are outside of my control. What I can control is how I respond to them. And if I allow those things to defeat me or bring me down to a level of becoming the evil that I see or despise, then what good does that do? So I can't allow myself to become something that I despise, that I don't want to be.
Sure.
So if I start displaying the same things that I claim to disapprove of, if I'm hating this or acting with malice, or that goes against that entire
yeah.
So instead, if I choose to not spend my energy having opinions on things that I don't have any control over, and instead narrow my focus, the things I do have control over, if I don't have control over things that are happening on a global scale, okay, maybe I can focus local, right? Like, then I'll bring it down to a local scale. Maybe I can't even focus citywide. Okay, maybe I'll focus on my block. Maybe I'll focus on the roundabout at the end of my block, and I'll pick up litter there. Like, whatever it is, man, like, however I can help, if that's what it's going to take, if that's the thing I do to do my part to bring a little bit of light, that's what I'll do. Like, but I refuse to put any negative out there. I refuse to contribute to adding to negativity. If I believe that there's too much negativity, it's not going to be defeated with negativity. That's how I see it. So if I can't contribute something positive, then contributing nothing is better.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
That's where I'm at as far as the social media and opinions and all of that goes.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't posted any opinions on social media in quite a while. I used to be pretty fervent about it, constant and all the time.
Yeah.
Now I try to just keep it to shit posting because it's the only thing left that brings me joy.
Yeah, I mean, my minimal use of it, I think, is at this point to try to provide some sort of positive messaging. Like, if I can't do that, then I avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and understand, people out there, that I'm not posting political memes. I post like proper shit posts, like a bunch of ducks smoking cigarettes and the dude telling the game warden, you didn't tell me I couldn't give him, you said don't feed the ducks, you didn't say I couldn't give him cigarettes. And the ducks are like, yeah, man, why are you being such a stick in the pond? Because that's ridiculous and it's hilarious. And it brought joy to you right there, and you haven't even seen the meme. And so that's what I try to do for the internet.
It honestly seems like a Mitch Hedberg joke.
I mean, it could be. I don't know.
They
all are drawn with like red eyes, like they're baked.
It seems like it.
But yeah, I used to like, in the, what was it, the 2016 cycle or whatever, and even before that, before social media, I was one of the people who was out there with a sign, rooting for my candidate. I was so involved. I've been a poll worker. I have been registered both Democrat and Republican because my mind can be changed. I mean, one of those two teams went off the deep end and the other one is complicit in it at this point. But, it has become something that it was not when I was a younger man. When I was younger, there was discourse, there was conversation, and it is not that anymore.
Right.
And I think that you're kind of right. It's manufactured. Like, it's designed to be this way because if we, it wasn't like a third of the French people that busted out the guillotines. It was all of them.
Right.
And it's going to take the same kind of unity to have that same sort of effect here. Mm-hmm. When we have the exact same problem they had then. 100% the exact same problem. And man, if their solution didn't work, at least, for some years till Napoleon came along. But, if you would have just stopped at Russia, what is the lesson, guys? You stop before you get to Russia. It's cold there in the winter.
I thought the lesson was
there's no food.
I thought the lesson was you never get into a land war with China.
I mean, you shouldn't do that either. I mean,
that was a different war.
Yeah. Well, and the Japanese have won that twice, but both times, taking it too far, like with the Koreans, and then
Right.
then they got spread too thin.
Yep.
Anyway,
This was a fun
that's a fun aside.
mixed history lessons, but that could be a fun little offshoot
Topic for
topic. Yeah.
yeah. Just come in here one day and talk about like the
Mix and match.
the wars of wars of
mismatch.
Asia in the 1600s.
Mismatch.
I know a surprisingly large amount about that because I watch. That's the type of TV I watch.
I have the best guest for that episode if we ever do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a professor of history at the UW.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, he's hilarious too.
That would be fun. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning violence,
No.
but they are.
Well,
So
I'm in no way saying to not get involved in politics.
sure.
Like, that's terrible advice if anybody tells you to be apathetic, because I mean,
Oh, I definitely vote, but I'm not gonna go out there and scream about it, and I'm not gonna
right.
try to persuade anybody
Right.
at this point.
That I think is the difference in the message is I'm past the point of trying to convince or persuade. Like that's not where I'm at in my life right now. It might be different if I would ever decide to run for office,
Yeah.
but I don't see that happening right now anyway.
Yeah. Why not? You don't have a job. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm not ruling it out at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you would make a really good comptroller.
I mean, I truly have considered some sort of public service, at some point, whether it's alderman or something like that on a local level, but
I got it like all the way back when I lived in Grand Rapids. I think I just turned 32, so I was old enough to kind of do that sort of thing. I was like, I talked to my wife about it, and she's like, yeah, why not? And so I filled out all the paperwork, and then it's a lot of, I was too busy with small children, or a small child, and, running a paint company to go out and meet all the people you need to meet in order to be elected to a position like that. I think it would have been, interesting. Grand Rapids is a really weird, unruly place and a really diverse community. It's called the Portland of the Midwest, mostly by itself. Fun fact, I own a Facebook page called Keep GR Weird. But anyway, at that time in our city, it was like you had like 2 art districts, and then you had like poor West Siders, and then you had, the poor, mostly African American communities, and then you had the rich people in the corner. So it was like a really interesting, those board meetings were exciting sometimes, put it to you that way.
Yeah. I could imagine.
It would have been fun to be in, because where I lived, it would have been the poor college kids and young urban professional artist district. So yeah, those are my peeps.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. It would have been wild. But yeah, I didn't put any effort into it, so it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think that like at this stage in my life, I might be better at it, but I'm also less interested. You know what I mean?
And I think that's kind of the one of the qualifying one of the qualifying factors these days is I feel like the people who least want to do it
Are the ones doing it?
no are the ones that probably should.
Oh yeah. I mean that's probably true.
The people who least want to actually be in office are probably the ones that we really should have in there.
I mean, congressional term limits is all I'm saying.
The people who are the ones that really want to be in there,
They want to be in there so that they're never going to
They've
get
got a
arrested
motive.
for doing drugs again, and so that they can get their pockets lined by, the lobbyists and all the other fun stuff.
regardless of what it is, they have a motive.
Yeah, money.
They have a motive, whatever it is.
Okay.
I fill in the blank. I don't care what it is, but the people who don't really want, or don't think they could, or don't think they are good enough, or whatever, I think probably are the folks that are the ones that are really the ones that are most representative of the most people. Because that's probably the most like most of us, the ones who are like, I don't know. Most of us aren't big and blustery and like,
I mean, I can be, but not as much since I quit drinking.
like a lot of folks are just trying to get by, and most of us aren't trying to kick everybody else out of the way to get to the top
Well,
of the
and
hill.
I think that's really what it comes down to is like at this point, everything, at least in this country, is being ran by sociopaths, and it's that's part of the reason we are where we are, So,
well, again,
yeah. Again, you should run. I'll vote for you.
it's not about me. I'm saying in general, like it's regardless of the opinion. I just think that a more representative case of the average person is not the person with these huge screw everybody else ambitions.
I mean, I agree.
And so that's all I'm saying is that the folks that are least likely to actually want that job are probably the folks that should be in those positions. And it's an interesting situation to look at from a zoomed out perspective, but when we look at it as far as what can we control, well, for anybody that's out there and asking yourself that question, what can I do? There's a website and an email you can sign up for. It's runforsomething.org. You can sign up, get training classes, learn how to run for local and state offices, and get involved. Get involved in politics on a very local level. You can help organize, you can help talk to people, you can get out there and talk to your community. Maybe it's run for school board, run for alderman, run for whatever. But rather than going on social media and having an opinion about everything, do something.
Yeah, only use social media for shit posting.
Or positive stuff.
That is positive.
Well,
I mean, it is. If it makes you smile, it's positive.
I mean, sure.
I try to spread joy, okay? All kinds of joy.
But truly, like, I think that doing something to get involved in the community and trying to help in some way, rather than just creating noise, is how things actually change. Because otherwise, like they say, nothing changes if nothing changes. So that's me getting off of my soapbox right there.
Okay. Yeah, you've been on that all night, man.
I know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that old man, he did something to me, man. Like, I haven't been the same since I watched him picking up that trash. Like, I don't know.
Is it like an American Beauty moment? The bag in the wind?
I don't know. So,
I mean, I kid, but like
a switch flipped. Like, it's weird, man. Like,
so do you feel a sense of guilt, like you haven't been doing enough?
it's not guilt.
Uh-huh.
It's
Is it motivation to do more?
yeah. It's like I haven't been doing enough, you know? And
I mean, to be fair, that's subjective.
well, it's just a motivation to like I have time. I can be doing more,
Sure.
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not a guilt. Like I should be doing more. Oh, I feel bad. I have time.
I have time, so I should be more productive with it.
Yeah, I have time. I can be doing more.
Yeah, I mean, that's, how I ended up doing all the crazy stuff I do for Oxford, because I have time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, why do you still do it? And I'm like, because I have time and I care about it.
And
you have time and you care about your community.
And it'll feel good.
Yeah.
And it's that I picture that I don't know if it's a parable or what they call it, but the wise man that plants acorns,
so that there will be shade later
that he will never be able to sit in.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I think that's there's different versions of that.
Yeah.
Like yeah, anyway.
But yeah, it's something like that.
There's a book that I read recently, like in the last 4 years. Siddhartha. Yeah, I think that's in there, but it was also, I believe, like,
it's a great book, by the way.
And yeah, it is. I'm trying to drink that away from the microphone.
It's fine.
I mean, it will be. Nobody cares. I mean, you care. I mean, and I get carrying on the audio.
It's just my OCD is all. It's fine.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was not prepared mentally for what you were bringing to the table tonight. I'm sorry.
No need to be sorry.
Not a good co-host. I will do my best to not feel.
Man. No
I will
worries.
do my best to not feel to not personalize your diatribe.
It's no worries, man.
Because I don't honestly think that you were accusing me of not doing or doing any of those things.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But see guys, like that's what's going on in my head. So if that goes on in your head when somebody else is having a serious talk through their own thought process, Don't personalize
Yeah,
it.
man, it's just me working stuff out, man. Like I'm serious. That like he did, like he really did. He flipped a switch in me, man. I don't know. Like
So is this like in Civ 6 you've reached the philanthropist era or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
The great philosopher era.
I don't know.
I don't know why I've been watching a bunch of Civ 6 gameplay lately.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, it sounds
excited.
delightful.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep going to school.
I learned something new today.
What's that?
It's not another. I don't have a word, but it's word related. It's the etymology of a phrase. So you know the song, "Another Thing Coming." You got another thing coming.
I believe so.
So that comes from a phrase from ancient Stoicism, I think, but
Of course it does.
so it actually is meant to be. It's actually a misinterpretation or a mishearing of "you've got another think coming," meaning like think again. So like if somebody tells you something and you know they say something back to you and your response would be like think again, it would actually be "you've got another think coming."
Okay.
And so when they wrote that song, they're not sure whether it was intentional or they misheard it, but then they wrote that song, "You've Got Another Thing Coming." And that song was so popular that literally that phrase basically got
Co-opted.
misunderstood by everybody
Sure.
as "you've got another thing coming."
Yeah. Well, that's the thing I know now.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
right.
Yeah. I don't have anything to bring to the table in that respect either. I am struggling. I think that in Spanish they don't ask questions the same way we do. And it is messing with my head, bruh. But yeah, we'll be okay. I'm still at an A, so
Just put an upside down question mark in front.
actually, a lot of it is just that.
I know.
They just like raise their tone of their voice at the end of the question,
Yeah.
and it's like it turns a regular sentence into a question, and I'm like, that what?
Yeah.
¿Qué? ¿Cómo?
Mm-hmm.
No tienes. Anyway. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I don't know, man. I think I was on a soapbox long enough today.
Okay. You know what I am excited for?
Discount chocolates
Well,
in 2 days.
I have paid rent through June. I now don't owe the bank any money on my car, so the repairs are not paid off on the credit card, but the car is paid off. I may still owe my mom some money, but we'll sort that. So that's fantastic. I'm not starving yet, so I mean that's pretty cool. Yeah, man, it was that was a good feeling to zero out of debt. I highly recommend to anybody who watches Brett's thing on Fridays, his Friday Financials Fundamentals with the capital FUN. Yeah, he'll tell you to pay off one at a time. Plug away at all of them, but if you've got a chunk of money, pay one off so that it's gone, and just keep at it. So that's what I'm doing, even though
Nice.
I'm poor, keeping at it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, if you've made it this far, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And if you want more soapbox rants from Brett straight into your notifications, you can hit that notification bell. But really, that bell is so that you know that you can watch our newest short, which is usually far less serious than the actual podcast itself.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. So
Unless
that's fun.
for some reason we're doing a absolutely bonkers version of this.
Yeah. Well, we've had a few real fun ones.
Yeah.
This does not fall into that category.
No,
I still love you, but
right back at you, man.
Also, if you are listening to us on Spotify, please go rate us and leave a review. We would unendingly appreciate that so much. And you can do that on iTunes as well. We really do appreciate you guys listening to us in the audio format. Brett works really hard on that, and it is a much more condensed and clean version of this. So if you are tired of spending an hour of your life watching this on YouTube, you can go get the 40-minute version of it on Spotify. That's fine. It's fine with me. But you should like this first and then comment on it and then let it run in the background so we get that sweet watch time. And then go listen to it on Spotify. Anyway.
All the things.
Just, hey, man.
Yeah.
It really does go a long way.
We got a couple of couple of interviews coming up.
Yeah.
So
Brett's been working his butt off, as the kids say.
Dates to be announced, but yeah. Keep an eye
real
out
quick before we go, I see you got a stack of something over there.
Yeah, we got stickers, baby. Stickers.
So if you guys want a sticker, the link to get a hold of us is down in the
hit us up in the Discord.
Down in the thing, or hit us up on Discord for sure. Other than that, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Love you guys.